pick up where he left off with the Draymond Green situation. Because I want to play some sound from Jalen Rose.
Okay.
I want to play some sound from Woj.
Okay.
About this situation, because Flem said it. And everybody's saying it. And I feel the same way.
What's that?
When you get punched like that, you never forget it. Baldy on Tuesday. Brian Baldinger. Yeah, I've been in a lot of fights in the locker room. When I got punched and somebody took off on me, I still haven't gotten over it. I still have that grudge. I still don't even want to look at that person. So for Jordan Poole, because that's the last piece to this puzzle, I keep saying it. Everything's all kumbaya right now. We're going to all move on. We're all going to talk basketball. We're going to talk about James Wiseman. We talk about Steph, Andrew Wiggins. It's a very exciting basketball team. I mean, it's going to be a lot of fun watching Warriors basketball this year. I guarantee it. We all know it. They're defending champs.
Yeah.
But for Jordan Poole, I mean, he's getting memed. I mean, they came out with a meme where they took the NBA 2K graphics and placed a black eye on him. They had a black eye with Jordan Poole, 6'3", 190, and he has a black eye. Like, you're Jordan Poole, you're thinking to yourself, man, I got to live with this for a very long time, if not forever. Forever I'm going to be known as the guy who got punched by Draymond Green in the practice. No matter what you think, whether or not he should have kept his hands up, whether or not you think he pushed him, or whether or not he initiated it. To me, he didn't initiate it. When Draymond Green, and I was talking to Big Dog City about this the other day, when somebody gets in your face like that, puts their chin all on your face, that's initiating contact. That's when it starts. Now, Poole pushed him. You know, you could say he needs to protect himself. I don't want to go down that road again. But my point is, Jordan Poole has to see this video, hear about it, and live with it forever. How does he feel? Because to me, I'm taking myself, I couldn't get over it in a week. I couldn't get over it in a month. I couldn't get over it in 2 months. I couldn't rock with the dude. Now, you have to play a game, and you got to go out there and try to win for the betterment of the team, but what Flip said, I'm totally with him. It's hard to get over something like that.
It is hard, but it's part of being the professional. Unfortunately, in this situation, even though this is not a normal, workplace setting, they don't have to be best friends to be able to move forward.
No doubt.
Right?
But how awkward are those playing rights?
Of course they're going to be. I mean, think about like Kobe and Shaq, which is probably one of the more, high-profile breakups in sports, right? Mm-hmm. Would you say?
Yeah.
It's up there. Were they best friends?
No.
I mean, I'm sure that they needed each other on some level. Like, you and I were watching it. It's entertainment. It's totally different.
They didn't get slugged, though.
I know.
That's the difference.
I know.
You didn't get slugged. If Kobe gets slugged, does Jerry West trade Shaq right then and there? Probably not. But let's say, hypothetically, this happened midway through the year. What do you think the Warriors do then?
So you had posed this to me before we went on air, and I hadn't even really considered that. I do think that it's different. Like, because you would have games and you'd have people out there.
Right.
Suspension, I don't know. Is he away from the team?
Midway through the year,
some sort of a mutual go away, probably. Right. But I guess on some level they're lucky it didn't happen. I mean, lucky in this. Yeah. How can you be lucky when this thing happens? But yes, I guess to some degree. I also think the ring night kind of hangs over everything because you don't want to have this situation where you're going to be bitter forever throughout the year. I think they all need to just find a way to amicably get the job done. And they don't have to be best friends to be cohorts and colleagues at work. And, when you're Jordan Poole and you have money staring you in the face, and when you're Draymond Green and you also have an obligation to fulfill your contract, I guess everybody's got to play nice.
I think one thing we kind of brushed under the rug is when Steve Kerr said, this is the biggest crisis they've had to deal with.
There's no doubt.
This is the biggest crisis.
What do you think are the biggest crises, by the way? Because I started thinking about those as well.
KD and Draymond was a big crisis.
Absolutely.
And Draymond got a game suspension.
I would say there's also on-court crisis, like Clay being out for 2 years. Being out for a year.
Steph Curry's knee.
They're different degrees and different kinds of crises.
Steve Kerr called this a crisis, the biggest crisis.
Yeah.
So the biggest crisis that they've had to deal with, and they dealt with many crises. Well, let's just think about the stuff, the Kevin Durant, Draymond Green situation. Draymond Green did get suspended for a game. Draymond wasn't happy about it. He got suspended for a game for that. He's facing no suspension for this in what they deemed the biggest crisis. So to me, that's a little strange, right? Because I think if this was happening midway through the year, if they're 45 games in, and Draymond does this at a practice, and now we can't say this. It's a hypotheticals. But if this happens, I believe they deactivate Draymond Green. I don't have any intel.
Yeah.
On that situation.
I don't know
but
how
I just like
how they
he's for sure getting suspended. So the biggest crisis they dealt with, Draymond's getting a fine and not a suspension. And so again, it goes back to Jordan Poole, because I think we talk so much about Draymond Green and what he needs to do. How does he rebuild the trust? How will we remember him? He's a four-time chat DPOY. You can't win without him. But I'm looking at it. I've been thinking about it from the Jordan Poole standpoint. Jordan Poole, how does he get over it?
Well, no, there's no doubt.
How does he feel about how the way the organization handled it?
Do you believe in, because I do, and I don't know where you stand, but do you believe in like shame as a form of punishment? Because sometimes there are actual punishments, right? And then there's the shame of facing your family and friends when you've done something wrong, which can be as big of a punishment. And again, I'm not saying that that's exactly what's happening here, because you have to feel shame, number one. Some people just don't feel shame. They're shameless people. I don't know where Draymond is on this spectrum. But like the peer pressure or the peer shame that would like going and facing everybody in the locker room and them knowing that like, dude, you hit one of us.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like that's something that's a burden, I guess, on some level.
Here's what Jalen Rose said yesterday, and we'll get to the calls in just a second. 888-957-9570. Brad Graham, 8:30 to talk some 49ers. Jalen Rose, here's what he had to say about the Warriors not suspending Draymond Green. This was on ESPN NBA Countdown yesterday.
When you don't suspend him because it's going to be ring night, now you really just double down in Jordan Poole's mind that he punched me and y'all didn't suspend him. And eventually they're going to have to choose the future, Jordan Poole, over the current and or the past.
There's more Jalen Rose on the situation.
It's worse than I thought, and at least Steve Kerr is the person that can navigate this as a championship-level coach who's done it as a player, and unfortunately he dealt with this with Michael Jordan when he actually got punched in practice. But here's what make that different. It wasn't a video, and I guarantee you he and MJ's relationship was never the same. Draymond's and Poole's will never be the same. Draymond's and the team will never be the same.
And
on that,
because of that,
I agree with.
Yeah, and because of that, Jalen Rose doesn't think the Warriors are repeating.
And before this incident, I actually thought the Warriors were going to win it all. They ain't winning it all this year now. Because what's going to happen is the karma of the game catches up to you in so many ways. And basketball is so much a game of camaraderie. This is two of their top 5 players. So how their interactions are going to be all season is going to affect the dynamics of a team. Helping on defense, missing me on an assignment, missing me on a pass. Guess what we're going to be paying attention to? Did they high five? Basic things that we normally take for granted are now going to permeate.
I mean, there's been plenty of dysfunctional teams that have won championships. Not a lot, but I'm saying
not a lot.
There have been. I mean,
and I wouldn't even call this team dysfunctional.
No, but I'm just saying, if you were to file the word dysfunctional, like there's been plenty of those. Like, were things super harmonious when the Warriors were winning championships with KD in the second year?
No.
I mean, were they really?
Second year was a lot better.
David West came out and said at the very end, y'all don't even know what's going on.
And now doesn't it make you think what was going on?
Of course it does. And then when you say, like, we had the
meningitis.
And then the way that Steve Kerr said, this is the biggest crisis. It's like, well, what other crises? That would have been my follow-up. Like, what other crises do we not know about? But it doesn't mean that the Warriors can't win it all. It's a long season.
Yeah.
Right now we're at the bottom of the mountain.
Yeah.
Talk to me when we're in the middle of the mountain. I'll have a better feel about what their chances are. Like, injuries can derail things. Look around the West. Is it going to be stiffer or worse than it was last year?
Right.
I still don't know.
I don't know. I think the camaraderie will be fine. There will be awkwardness, no doubt. But I said this last week.
Of course.
Every handshake's going to be magnified. I don't want to talk about that every day. I want to talk about the game. Bo Schembechler, Michigan. The game. That's all I want to talk about. I want to talk about Wiseman's development, Kuminga's development, Moses Moody's development, JaMychal Green, how he fits, DiVincenzo being a pest on defense. I want to talk about Steph going for number 5. That's what I want. And just this whole situation has hijacked that for now.
Yes.
Just like KD's last year.
Yes.
All that situation. The Warriors are going for a three-peat. Think about that. Showtime Lakers never three-peated.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
But B, in that circumstance, as bad as that season was, and everyone always says, KD hijacked the final year. They lost in Game 6 of the finals, and everyone was hurt.
But I'm not saying that.
No, I know, but what I'm saying is that they dragged it all the way to the end.
I hear
they
you.
were a threat away.
West is kind of weak. Listen, that year, all we did was talk about Kevin Durant, leaving. Kevin Durant,
No,
Draymond Green.
I agree. It was a
We barely,
distraction.
and I worked the show with Greg Papa, and it was like, gosh, we're not even talking about a three-peat. And it all was about the offseason, too, because that was the offseason with Kawhi Leonard moving on. Yeah, Paul George getting traded. That's all we freaking talked about, and it was annoying. So,
well, I see a lot of Warrior fans this morning are waking up and like, move on.
No.
You guys can't stop talking about it.
But the numbers don't say that. And a lot of people are talking about it everywhere I go.
Yeah,
everywhere I go.
I'm with you on this.
What about Draymond Green? My Russian in-laws. Damn it. Oleg, Alona, Bablik. Bablik's 85 years old, watches every Warrior games. That's Anna's grandmother. Draymond Green, why he do this? That's all they talk about. Every casual. That's all they talk about.
I'm at softball last night, and that's all anyone wants to talk about. And the casual fan is thinking to themselves, damn, what happened there? What's going on? Right. Should he be punished? I don't think he should be punished. This guy says he should be punished. Why would you punch a teammate? Do these guys like each other?
Right.
Do they hate him? I'm sick of Draymond. I'm not sick of Draymond. He's my favorite. They can't win without him.
And you telling me people don't want to talk about Dave Johnson on YouTube's been adamant for the last 2 days on the chat. Dre chose violence and skated. He owns Kerr. Now there's people who think that Draymond runs the organization. And I can't. I'm not going to tell anybody how they should feel about it, but the optics look bad. And Bun Knob, he paid $5 for this chat. Thank you for the $5. I appreciate it.
If you want to jump up in the YouTube chat, you can donate a little money.
Donate a little money. I'll read your chat.
Yeah.
I'll read your message.
Read his message.
Gentlemen, trust. He will not get over it talking about Jordan Poole. Because I had a coworker come at me disrespectfully. Didn't come to blows, but I'm still heated 5 months later. I can relate to that.
Well, and the other thing that I do want to dispel is that a lot of people are like blaming the media. The media is the ones keeping this going. The media wasn't the one that, did the whole action of Draymond punching Jordan Poole. The media did not leak the video. Now, the media posted the video, which is their obligation.
Right.
The media was not the one that told Steve Kerr to go no comment on a couple of very specific things regarding Draymond's trust with the team. The media wasn't the one that had Draymond Green talk. Draymond had to talk because the organization wanted him to talk to try to put water on the fire.
Right.
The media isn't the one waiting for Jordan Poole. Everyone's waiting for Jordan Poole.
Right.
The fans, their own teammates. You think Kevon Looney wants to sit up there and talk about this?
No.
Right? Nope. You think Steph Curry wanted to go out the next day and talk about this?
Yep.
I would much rather talk about Steph Curry going for a 5th championship and the coronation of him as a top 10 player all time cemented than Draymond Green and whether or not he knocked out Jordan Poole or not and whether that was cool.
It's annoying. We don't want to talk about it. It's the biggest story of sports, though. It's the biggest story of sports, and Danker made a great point. Once TMZ's involved, it's on another level.
Exactly.
There's over 40 million views. I've lost count of how many views.
Well, ask Tiger Woods. Once you get put on the tabloids, even though we don't really do tabloids anymore, TMZ is the equivalent of the tabloids these days. It's fair game for everybody.
And then this other thing that's going around, and we'll get to the calls, Anthony Avery, Dariel, this whole thing that, man, you guys really hate Draymond Green. No, actually, we love Draymond Green. I love Draymond Green.
Mm-hmm.
Love Draymond Green. When he first got selected out of Michigan State, I was out in Baltimore, Maryland. And I said, damn, that might be a good pick. 2nd round, this guy, he could play. And I had heard him on Jim Rome's show way back when, 2 months prior to that. I was like, man, this guy's well-spoken. Okay. Well, what do you know? He's got a career broadcasting. TNT, of course, his Volume, the Draymond Green Show on the Volume Podcast Network. Colin Cowherd. Nobody hates Draymond Green. I just mentioned it in the first hour. I want to remember Draymond Green 10 years from now as being a 5-time NBA champion.
Of course.
I want to remember him as being a DPOI, as being one of the greatest Warriors to ever don that uniform. I want Draymond Green alongside Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Andre Iguodala to have that statue outside the Chase Center. I want that number 23 hanging in the banners. So get out of here with the stuff that we hate Draymond Green. I love Draymond Green. I don't like the actions, though.
Yeah. I
don't like what happened with Jordan Poole. My best friend does something bad. I don't like that. You're still my best friend. I still love you, but I don't like that.
I know.
So
if this were any other, if this were Anthony Davis and LeBron James, if this was Anthony Davis and let's say Pat Bev, right? For example, it would get the same amount of scrutiny. Now, the fact that it's Draymond and Draymond wags his finger at the media, I'm sure that amplifies it to some degree. But think about Gilbert Arenas and what was it, Crittenden?
Javaris Crittenton.
I mean,
from Georgia Tech.
We talked about that for a year and a half as a media, did we not?
Right, no doubt.
How many times do guys pull guns out on each other? Do all NBA players bring guns on the airplanes? What about these card games? What's going on with these cards? Like when these things when these kind of things happen, it's amplified. And Gilbert Arenas does not have the Q rating that Draymond Green does.
No.
I mean, I love me some hibachi, but hibachi is not on the level.
Think about where Draymond Green is at. Where he's at, uninterrupted. You know what I'm saying? The shop.
He's got his own podcast.
He's got his own podcast. He's got hardware. Draymond Green's a factor. One of the more recognizable faces in the NBA.
I know.
So that's where we're at with it. And it's, a lot of people don't agree with the way the Warriors handled it. The Warriors handled it the best way they could. I'll trust Steve Kerr and Bob Myers on that. I'll give them the BOD, benefit of the doubt on that. That's me. You don't have to. That's me. Let's go to Anthony in Fairfield. Anthony in Fairfield, he's on the roast on 95.7 The Game. What's up, Anthony?
Top of the morning, fellas. So I just, first of all, Bonta, you got to think about that. You said your lady's 85-year-old Russian grandmother is asking you about the situation with Draymond. So that's how you know it's really for real.
Crazy.
Exactly.
But I just wanted to get, it really is, though, but I wanted to get some perspective because I'm hearing a lot of people say that Poole pushed him first and this, that, and the other. Well, where we're from, being from the city, whether it's from Fillmore, Excelsior, wherever, if somebody walked down on you the way that Draymond did, you usually have every right to hit him with a two-piece.
Yep.
You know it, I know it, and everybody else know it.
Yep.
Now, if the shoe was on the other foot and Jordan Poole hit Draymond with a two-piece first, everybody that's saying that Jordan Poole pushed Draymond and that's the reason why he had every right to hit him, everybody wouldn't be saying anything. But the fact of the matter is, Jordan Poole didn't need to have his guard up because Jordan Poole was at practice with quote-unquote family because everybody keep using that word. And why would you have your guard up with family? But I just wanted to call people out on that because you keep saying that Jordan Poole was the one that initiated.
Yeah.
But Jordan Poole, really, if this was in the streets, if this was anywhere else, because people keep saying, oh, well, he should have had his hands up. If anybody walks on you like that, you are within your right to defend yourself because you don't know what they're going to do. Jordan Poole wasn't trying to initiate anything. So I just kind of wanted to give that because I think it's unfair. I don't care how the Warriors handled it because it's not my business as a fan.
Exactly.
I know how I look at Draymond moving forward. I trust what Steve Kerr said, and like you guys said, I really do trust the organization. I believe and I agree with what Jalen Rose said, that their relationship will never be the same because he did cross that line. But I think it's unfair to rationalize what Draymond Green did. But if the shoe was on the other foot and Jordan Poole hit him first, like, oh, what you walking up on me like that for? It would be a totally different story. So
That's a great call, Anthony.
And Anthony,
great call.
Everything with Draymond is amplified. If I just go, Kevin Durant, 888-957-9570.
Lines
People
light
are
up.
like,
Lines light up.
All right, if you go Draymond Green, anything, Draymond Green, 888-957-9570.
Lines light up.
Like
you can do that with Jimmy G.
No, I know, but that's my point. I think people get nauseated with certain things, and this is what I would tell them. If you own a business, you know what? Give me 8 minutes, and I'll explain the whole thing to you.
Right. Well, fairly, I'm losing some credibility because
no. I want to talk about this.
Yeah. No, because
8 minutes. I'm going to
going.
explain what I'm going.
All right.